The old brakes used to come up through were mounted, the master cylinder was mounted on the floor, and used to come up through a hole there, one for the clutch and one for the brakes. I'm going to play with the engine a little bit, so I'm going to make sure the brakes are right up there. It's the wife's car, isn't it? So don't want to see her putting herself through hedges and stuff. So anyway, there's a few things that's going to be a little bit tricky. There's the steering column comes through that hole, and the steering box is mounted there. So inside we're going to have to be, which just happens to be just slightly to one side, but just above where the brake normally sits. So I've got to find the position on that on the bulkhead. At the same time, try and see where the steering column goes through. Mounted there, down through that slot. Which there's the other two holes from the other side. It's going to come in through here and mount in the bottom, so I've got a Metro pedal box, so I think I might be doing a bit of cutting and shutting and getting it to work. Catch up in a bit. Very quick update. I've made a template at the bottom of the servo so I can see what it's going to look like, or the mounting's going to look like. That looks like about the best place for it because it's in the centre of the ribs, so I don't really want to get that wrong, just for ease of fitting really. I've put my jack handle through where the steering column's going to go, so I can get a good idea of what's going on. There's one small problem where the brake pedal comes up, where the original brake pedal came up. So it's going to hit about that centre line of that rib there. With the crank in this, you can see this brake pedal that came with the master cylinder and servo. It's got a crank in it, and with that, if I leave that crank in there, it takes it over to the right further. It's going to put it pretty close to where the throttle pedal normally goes, and away from where the brake pedal used to go. Does that make sense? I think so. So what I'm going to do, marked a couple of lines on it, and I'm going to cut it, prepare it, and prepare it I mean put 45-degree angle, chamfers, and turn the crank round so it brings the pedal back. Come over back this side. Wouldn't recommend it for anybody who's not done a lot of welding. I'm lucky enough to have done quite a bit of structural welding, so I'm fairly happy, although I still not nervous, I don't know what the word is, but I still need to know it's going to be dead right, very strong, etc. So hence you've got to prepare these, and it's about 1/4 inch, 6mm steel. It's fairly hefty stuff, so you can get a good chamfer on it, get the weld in there, rooted in there really well. I'm quite a bit bigger than the wife, so when it comes to testing it for the first time, I'll just give it a good stamp and make sure she can't break it. I'm fairly confident it's the same sort of thickness to make tow bars and all sorts of other things out with, so I've made quite a few tow bars. So if it doesn't feel right, then I'll have to get some cut out of a fresh piece of steel and put the crank in it. Okay, cheers, bye. Just wanted to quickly show you what I meant about preparing for the weld. Basically, I've done the cut, and then I've put roughly a 45-degree angle. Well, the camera's not focusing any sense, but anyway, 45, if you can see that. Approximately a 45-degree angle on there. And the idea is that when you marry up, you've got a good area for the weld. One other thing that's really important with this sort of welding is to make sure you get all the paint off close to the weld, because you don't want any inclusions. Inclusions basically happen when foreign matter, crap in other words, could be from paint or dirt or whatever, gets drawn into the weld, and it may look really nice and smooth on the top, but if you were to put a grinder through it, they've got little pockets of well, air, I suppose, where the crap's expanded, and obviously that's a place where it can fracture in the future. I'll show you what it looks like when I've finished the welds. On these I tend to do, or this sort of thing, I tend to put one run through the middle, and then one either side, and do it quite hot so it bites in. I don't want to just lay it on top. And obviously you don't want it to pull, so you can either clamp it or don't end up with the pedal all leaning over before you pull it. So but I tend to put a couple of decent spot welds one side, tacks, and then run the other side, and then go backwards and forwards, basically keep it straight. Okay, see you in a bit. Alright, so I've got my offset pedal. Hopefully you saw the pictures and see how I did it. I've just gone over it quickly with a flappy disc. I haven't taken any serious metal off, because that would be really defeating the object. We can pick that up because it's now become shiny, but just in the interest of making it a bit smoother, when Mary's up under cleaning the carpet, she don't want to be cutting her hands on anything. But anyway, the other thing I've got to do, in the interest of trying to keep it a little bit original, the Austin has little round pads instead of these squarer ones. So when I find it in the tip that is the shed, so I can use it as a pattern, or maybe just cut that one off and put the Austin one on, but it's in there somewhere. Might be, oh, Right, that's the old brake master, look. So you see how that came up through the floor. Used to fill him up there. This used to work both front drums, and then back to a little slave cylinder that used to work then with rods to the back drums. But I've gone for Morris 1000 back brakes and Midget front brakes, so I've got true hydraulic all the way round, and then the Metro servo to give it a bit extra oomph when she's flying around. But as you can see, I've taken the pad off of there, so I'll have to try and find it and either bolt it on there or cut that one into the round shape. Okay, see ya. Just wanted to show you this quickly because I think it's funny. I haven't got a hole saw for cutting metal, so I've just took the blade out of my hacksaw and tacked it in there. It's not kind of round, but it might work, it might not. It's got one hole to cut, so obviously because it's going to be going round, the hole that's going to be left should be round in theory. Okay, that's it. Thanks. Well, it's quite funny. We had a bit of a spin out because my pin snapped, probably because the heat into it. This was just a drill, but I've got a hole just very nearly round. So next thing, I'm going to try that servo in there. Go and grab it, try it. So it's going to sit or not. Well, quite amazed. It's obviously a bit tight in places. Ow! But that's it. It's there. It's in. So, oh. That's where it's going to sit. Just got to build the frame round for the pedal to sit. It's quite handy finding that other master cylinder, because I meant I could excuse me, measure off floor height, or height from floor to pedal. It's about 6 inches, so somewhere near that, I reckon. Well, it's going to work, I think. That's where the other master cylinder used to go, look, in there. And that funny cranked pedal used to come up through there. But I reckon, hopefully, it's a bit off. It's going to be a little bit off compared to the original, but I don't think it's too bad, really. So, next bit, making the mountain. Okay, see ya. Just a quick update. Made the brackets for going underneath the bulkhead to hang the pedals off of pedal box. Just a matter of welding together now, so I'll have a look in a minute. Thank you. Okay, I'll finish the hanging bracket pedal box with a brake pedal. Too bad. Springs in there. strengthening gussets in. So all I've got to do now is make sure it fits. See what height the pedal is. Okay, last video of the day. It's in there. Looks okay. I reckon that we'll have to do something with that piece by the fake steering column. I've left it box sectioned, whereas originally on the Metro it's just angle, so maybe I'll have to just chop the top of the box off. I did chamfer it, did angle it back, but I don't think it's enough. But there you go, that's that bit. That's what it's going to look like when it's on. I reckon just enough clearance for the bonnet, for the hood, just. So that's me signing out. Goodbye.